So you just went through a metaphorical avalanche, and now you gotta crawl out of that rubble to see what all the damage is and where to even start, what you're left with, what you've lost. So can it really get any worse than what it already is? Well, hopefully for you, no. But for me, that wasn't the end. That was, I'm gonna call it roughly the halfway point. Um, so in the process of all that, um, my mind was completely in so many other different places, and I wasn't paying attention to a lot of things. But ultimately, so what it is it's told by one person that when I got rid of my house, I would just take over my grandmother's house, and that didn't happen, which is fine. But I was trying to find a place for me and my mom to stay, and I was putting in just applications like to rent places, and they would come back that that I'd been denied, and I didn't like. So I finally reached out to one of them and I said, I really don't understand. And sorry, I gotta help her here now. Stubbs, say hi to everybody. This is one of the stray cats that is around here. So yeah, I was getting denied, and I kept asking what it was. I thought maybe it was because I'd never really had a rental history in my life. But I found out it was because of credit, and I'm like, well, what do you mean because of credit? Because when I bought my house, my credit was up in the 800s. So I pulled my reports and everything else, and I'm gonna say my identity was stolen. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what was going on because of a couple of addresses I found attached to things. So if you see this, you know who you are. You know what you did. I appreciate it. I'm still dealing with that to this day. Yeah, to come to find out, I had 17 credit cards open to my name. All of them maxed out. None of them paid for. I think a couple of them had like a couple payments in the beginning, and then they'd stopped. And I had the money to do nothing about it. And I tried getting credit companies to do something about it, and unless I was willing to press charges, then there was nothing they could really do. And anybody that knows me knows I'm not that type of person, so me being me, really dumb mistake. But even if it was presented to me again, I probably wouldn't do it. It's just who I am. But yeah, I mean, it was for places that I'm not trying to like sound weird or whatever, but like most men wouldn't have a credit card for. So now I had that going on. So then it was presented to me. Another opportunity was presented to me to move to the middle of Florida, Central Florida, and I could stay there for 2 years. Didn't have to work. Stop, Steve. Come here. I wouldn't have to worry about paying anything for the first couple years, because they would just kind of take it as, instead of giving me back the money that I had put out for my grandmother's care and all that, we would just do it that way. there was agreements made for, like I said, 2 years, and then they would help me get a mortgage since because they knew people. They would help me get a mortgage for an agreed amount that we had for the place, and that it was supposedly going to work out good for me because of the resources in the area and things like that. And that was further from the truth. Medical care was the worst I've ever seen anywhere. Resources for me to be able to make money was not even 1/100th of what I had here where I'm at, and didn't even make it to made it to about 1.5 years, and then they came up with another idea and more promises, which I wasn't holding my breath on that time, but just figured if you don't want to hold up your end, there's nothing I can fight. There's nothing I can do. I have nothing in writing, nothing. I do have it all in text messages though, and if I wanted to be that person, I could, and I don't want to be that person. So I literally moved back to where I'm originally from with $34. $34 after everything, and that was getting rid of everything. So getting rid of everything that helps me make the little bit of livelihood I have, selling on like eBay and other platforms like that, and it's just been a roller coaster, so it is what it is. And at that point, like after all that, my agoraphobia was just so bad. It was I would get anxiety attacks trying to go to the mailbox. Literally down, come out on a nice porch. We got 5 steps to go down to head to the mailbox, and I'd freeze up on the steps at times. When I had to go to the grocery store, places like that, even though somebody else was driving, they'd get so bad that I'd black out. That's one of the reasons I choose not to drive, is don't want to risk hurting anybody else if it was to happen. But yeah, it gets so bad that it causes my blood pressure to go up into the 200s over like 160. My heart rate gets close to the 200s, and so my anxiety was just getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And once we got back here, things got a little bit better, medication wise. So I don't have the attacks nearly as much, but I'm also still limited. So that's one thing that people don't, I think, realize sometimes when it comes to mental illness, the side effects it has, to where living your normal life is almost impossible, because you either live it to where you're scared to death of the world and you literally can't leave your house and do anything, or you are on meds that have you doped up so much you're like a zombie. And but anyway, so we got back here. Once I started feeling a little bit better with those meds, I was looking for a job just because I had to, and I can tell you in 2024 alone, I filled out over 1,000 applications to from any job you can think of. Like, it's not one of those, well, you probably just filled out. No, like I filled out every fast food place, every call center, telemarketing, stuff that, you know, retail management, things that are actually in my wheelhouse, even just like Dollar Tree, you know. But it all, after all that, we came back, I had accepted one job. I went into work there. The very first anxiety attack I had, they let me go. And then I didn't get another offer until it literally was Dollar Tree. And they wanted me to drive way deep into the next town over, which was about a 40-something minute drive each way. And I was willing to make it happen until we talked about the money. And you know, it's one thing to whatever, but when they offer you a job and then they tell you that you're expected to work about 70 hours a week for almost next to nothing, and then, you know, you're going to have to be paying a hefty fee to get Uber there and back each day, it just wasn't worth it. So now I just do what I used to do as a hobby, and I sell on eBay. That's my main Facebook marketplace, and then I do scrap metal here and there to just make some extra money on the side. But I do what I have to do to survive at this point. And it 45 years old, I never thought I'd be in this place. And the crazy part was, when this started 7 years ago, I was at the top of my game. I was making the most money I'd ever made. And now I'm at the lowest I've ever been. And being at that spot for so long and dealing with all the stuff that's going on in your head, a million things going a million different ways every minute, puts you in a lot of dark places. It makes you feel like it would, you just not only would be better off for you, but for the others around you that are seeing you suffer, to check out, you know. And that was the plan. That's what brought things on for that first video. That was the plan, but luckily, thank the Lord, luckily, before it got to that, I reached out to somebody, and we'll just say her and her daughter helped me remember to turn back to my faith that I once had. And I've had some amazing help. I have a friend that's traveled this journey with me and lived in this misery, and I don't understand why. I appreciate it more than anything. I'll never be able to repay him, because this is not a lovely life that we live. But even with that, even with him here every day, sometimes you just need to hear it from somebody else too. Because in my head, it was going to be helping him out too, to get away from all this and go back to having his own life that wasn't surrounded by all this nonsense. So now now we're kind of caught up to present day. I mean, don't be wrong, there's a million little things, you know, and they're little things, but all those little things add up. I can count on one hand the amount of birthdays that I've celebrated, like as a birthday, like birthday party or something like that. I had one birthday party as a child. I've had birthday parties that were supposed to, not birthday parties, but birthday plans, groups of people that we were supposed to do something and then it get canceled. Like, man, that sucks. You know, it's one thing if like a couple people had to cancel for something, but when everybody cancels and they all go to do something else. But that was years ago, and but it still bothers you, you know. And there's lots of, like I said, there's just so many little things that are also tied into those. But if I went through it all, man, I'd be here for months talking to this camera that I can't get used to talking to, because that's part of the anxiety, the agoraphobia. Have a hard time talking on the phone. I forced myself to do it. So yeah, it's definitely not an easy road. So if you know anybody that suffers with these things, it's not as easy as people like to try to tell you. You just got to get over it. You just have to push forward. Like, that's you know, that's one of the worst things to hear, because we know that. We know what needs to be done. Our brain can't process how to do it anymore. And then you add in the medications that are supposed to help a little bit, that literally want to keep you knocked out. It makes it even worse. You know, you're literally a zombie. You're awake, but I mean, you're literally a walking zombie at that point. I also deal with chronic pain in all my joints and muscles. I've had a bad back for longer than I can remember. It's like all these things add up, and it's just like, gosh, what options are out there for me, you know? But I'm at a point where I just have to believe, and let the Lord know. Let the Lord know that, let him know my struggles, let him know my pains, let him know my dreams, and pray that he can shine a light down and guide me to a brighter future. But for this video, I'm going to kind of cut it off for the regular part. I do want to toss in one last little thing for anybody that ever watches these to the end, which I'm sure that's not many. Um, I don't blame you. It's just me rambling right now, you know. But yeah, so that like that right there, the background noise. I apologize for that, but this is what I have to work with. You know, I come out here. I come out. I love being outside, but I feel safe outside at night, and it might be weird for some people, but I feel like I don't have to look over my shoulder as much. Plus, I got my guard cat Stubbs here. It doesn't let me get 2 feet away from him when I'm out here with him at night. But yeah, I'm trying to keep this as real as possible. I'm trying to like make this real raw, no fluff, no real editing. The little bit of editing I do, I do is because half the time whenever like say I mess up and I have to pause, I forget to hit pause and I hit stop. That's the dyslexia part. And so I have to just patch them together type thing. I don't even know if that's the proper terminology, but yeah, I want it to be. I know I'm not saying I don't want it to get better over time. I got a lot to learn, but I just don't want it. I don't want it seeming like the typical thing on YouTube. Like, I'm not here for the numbers. I'm not here for any type of money. I'm not here for the fame, or I don't know if they really get fame out of it or not, but I mean, you guys get the gist of what I'm saying. Like, I'm here to like try to put my story out there in hopes that it'll reach somebody and help them, no matter how long it could be. Why I chose to put it out there for the whole entire world to know, guess it's the crazy brain that, you know, has you do it. That, or that's the calling was God telling me to do this for a reason. And I mean, I strongly believe that, but I also don't want this channel to be looked at as, oh, well, he's talking about God, so yeah, no, because my situation. No, your situation is your situation. I'm here to listen. I hope I can help, and if I can't, I'll do everything in me to try to get the answers that are needed. So, but on that note, I wish you all the best. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I think it's a holiday weekend. I think, I don't remember. But yeah, I appreciate the support I have been getting. I promise to try to do better. I promise to try to keep pushing forward, and I appreciate all of you. Have a great night. God bless.